welcome to another episode of The Billy Ho Show. Now, I remember asking my mother if I could go to the pictures, and in her usual way she would say, "Oh, I suppose so, as long as you can spell it," she said. "Oh, okay. P-I-T-C-H-E-R-S. No. What? Oh, P-I-T, no. Oh, P-I-T-A, no. Oh, P-I-C-T-H-E-R-S, no. Oh, God, I'm not going to the pictures, am I? P-I-C-T-U-R-S, no. P-I-C-T-U-R-E-S, yes, hooray, you can go to the pictures. And little did she know that I was to become a writer and write 40 years of weekly columns, and I guess that started me off spelling pictures. With me is Gerrard, and welcome to our little show.
Thank you, Bill.
Gerrard, and we've just looked at the second to last superliner that they built, which is interesting. Every truck has got something about it that's special to the people who've restored it or own it, you know, the older ones.
Yep.
This belonged to my grandfather, this was my father's, this is the last one, this is the first one, this is the one that the Queen came and sat in, all sorts of stuff like that.
Yep.
And what's special about your one?
The special thing about this is it was the 1000th Mack built in New Zealand in the factory in Palmerston North when they still built them there. So it was a bit of a milestone for those guys, so they shut the factory for a few days and had a celebration and brought a heap of Macks around that had been built there previously and just celebrated the milestone, I guess.
I just see on the mudguard there, you've got some memorabilia of that time. Maybe we just have a look at one of those.
Yeah. Well, they. I wasn't at the dinner, but my understanding is that everyone got to eat off and keep their dinner plate and their pudding plate and all that sort of stuff. So I managed to find these up in Palmerston North, and Bruce Smith, who was a salesman back in those days, he was good enough to let me have the bloody thing. So it was quite good, really.
That's marvellous.
Yeah.
So you've got the complete memorabilia that goes with it. And was there anything else? I meant to get a hat, a t-shirt?
Yeah, I've got the hat in there. There was money because they had an auction or something. I haven't got money, but I know a few people that have got still some original money in that. And one day I might come across that stuff, but it's more about just keeping everything together with the truck and keeping the truck on the road.
In the beginning, Ron Carpenter sort of started the ball rolling, getting the Mack. Did he get the Mack trucks, or did he just get the parts and build them? I
think he got, from my understanding, the first ones to come here were bought and built up, and then in '72 they started building them here.
I think the regulations changed or something, and you weren't allowed to do what he was doing, but you could bring them in. I think the people who built Kenworth pretty much around about the same time, bring in the bits and build them up.
Yeah.
And the Palmerston North factory would have been right-hand driving them, I suppose, at the same time.
Yeah. And they've still, even over the years now, they've still bought in some left-hand drives. The first CH to come to New Zealand, it was bought in left-hand drive and converted there. Some of the CLs, like one we've got over at the other yard, it came in left-hand drive with a Detroit in it and was converted over up there as well. So they're pretty good at doing what they do up there.
Yeah, you were doing it that long.
Yeah, and some of the guys have been there a bloody long time, and they know exactly what they're talking about.
So all those dashboards are all just swapped over, and they've got a mould, and the mould they tick, tick, boom, boom.
Yep, I think the RBs, when they were built up there, the bonnets and the front bumpers and all that were built locally, and they were just a part of the MC front axles, the ultraliner grille, the R model cab. All that were just put together, and they were a model that was built there for a few years.
At the TR group, they had something called a Flintstone Mack. Has any come down this way?
No, it's a D. I think they're a DM. Yeah, we've got one over at the other yard there.
Oh, have you? Oh,
yeah,
right.
That was one of Murray Loggings, as I understand it. 375 V8, one of the first off-road loggers up there that used to tow a A-train in the forest. And that's over at the other yard there. It's second, there's two more to be restored before her, so and then
so
she'll get a
quite
big
a number
birthday.
Actually came. There wasn't just one.
No, there wasn't just one of those ones. I think they had two or even three of them. And from my understanding, there's only two V8 ones that were made. All the rest were 6-cylinder ones.
What's in this?
It's a V8, 500 V8.
Mack.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mack all the way through in these ones. Yeah, Mike Lambert built some superliners with 350s in them. For what reason, I don't know. Maybe economy, maybe whatever. But most of them had V8s in them.
When you look at, there's an R series sitting over there with a tank on the back of it.
Yep.
And that cab is pretty much like this one. The actual cab and windows and doors and what have you. It's just the bonnet is a bit different.
Yeah.
But that cab, how many other trucks would actually have this cab but different configurations? Just the two, the R and this?
No, that's a 1973, so that was built when the factory was a year old. That's got the cab is just marginally narrower, but they're pretty much the same one. So you've got the R model, then the RB and the Superliner. I think they were really the three, and those DMs and those that shared that cab.
Then you look at the modern Mack that's on the road today, even that, the cab is similar.
Yeah, it's a similar sort of shape, same as the Kenworth. They sort of are quite similar. They haven't gone really futuristic or anything silly like that.
Yeah, but like Holden's, each marque has got, they're the same for about 6 years, and then something changes and big change.
Yeah, you can elbow the passenger in the modern ones as well as these ones now. Like the old S lines and that in the day of these R models, you were struggling to reach the passenger, whereas the old R model you could give them a nudge with your elbow, and you still can now.
With the English trucks, the Leylands, the Bedfords, all the TK Bedford I'm particularly thinking of, those cabs are a little bit narrower than the normal, as wide as they can be, but this is way in.
Yeah.
This is nearly a foot away from the...
Yeah.
Is that, when you sort of jump into something like a full width modern truck like you've got there, and then suddenly you're sort of squashed in and there's a big gap between you and the side of the truck, and there's a mirror stuck out further than that. Is that sort of like a hindrance?
No, these trucks, as anyone will tell you, like most of us started on an R model. That's why the R model over at the other yard there is called Humble Beginnings, because that's what we all began on, an old R model and that. And I think once you've done a bit of time lining up the Bulldog with the left-hand line on the road, it just becomes habitual. You can get on anything you like, the Kenworth, the DAFs, all that stuff, and jump straight back into a Mack, and it's just like old times. It's just like getting on a bike, and the Bulldog still runs down that left-hand line, and you're perfectly right in the middle of the road. And it doesn't matter what model it is, even the Superline with the longer bonnet, the Bulldog still stays on the white line on the left. R model with the shorter bonnet stays there for some reason. That's just the way it is. Yeah,
they're certainly spectacular to look at, the Superliners. I think just an enormous bonnet out the front. If you've got a small car in front of you, how far does that disappear? Or can you see down the mudguard?
Yeah, you can see. No, you can't see down the mudguard, but you pretty much know what's there. The thing is, the old cyclists, they're a bit of a pain. Like they can, if you... Like any normal driver's got his wits about him, so he knows what his surroundings are like, but the odd cyclist, if you're in the city, can whip up the inside of you and then move across in the middle of the road to take off, and if they're not wearing a reflected helmet or something, they can sit down in front of you quite nicely there. Yeah. Hey, they put themselves into those situations. Sure, it's a hard one, but as I say, 99% of drivers are well aware of their situation. Unless you've got something else going on in the cab that takes your attention away, you've pretty much got them.
I see that they're sort of trying to bring attention to trucks.
Yep.
And cyclists and pedestrians and anybody else. Like they were sitting a whole bunch of people down in front of it and say that driver can't see you.
Yeah.
And it's only now, however long the truck's been on the road, that they're starting to think about, hey, let's educate the public about the danger of trucks.
About mixing with them. Well, we can only go so far as an industry. Like one of the DAFs over there, or actually two of them, the one that arrived new the other day as well, have got the cameras on the left-hand side. So if you turn on your left-hand indicator, you've got the camera looking straight down beside the cab. You've got another camera on the wind kit looking straight down the left-hand side, your whole truck and trailer. So as soon as you turn on your left-hand indicator, to look down at your TV screen as well as the mirror, and it'll see anybody up there. So I think the industry's definitely implementing a lot of safety issues, but you can't guard against stupidity.
No, you can't. No.
You get someone on a push bike that wants to sit in between the 2 units of your B train and stuff like that. You can't guard against stupidity, and they say it's just nature thinning out the thick ones. Well, you know, we'd like to think that's probably right, but you can't guard against stupidity.
No. How long have you been interested in Macks?
Oh, since I got my first one at Farrier Waimak here in oh God, I don't know. I was 18 anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It was a 180 horsepower R model as a concrete mixer. IZ was the number plate on it. I can't remember the numbers. I'm getting a bit older now. And after that, I got an MC and then an R model tip truck, and then went up to Wellington and got a superliner up there. And just, I think Bill gave me the bug, unbeknown to me, and I've just sort of stuck with them ever since. Our frontline trucks aren't Mack. My passion is Mack, but the industry we're in, we really need cab over trucks are what we need, and unfortunately Mack don't make them. So.
Oh, okay. They used to make them, didn't they?
Yeah. But
that stopped.
Yeah, so that stopped way back in.
And somebody said the reason it stopped was fuel economy.
No,
with the big flat front sort of pushing here.
No, everyone else is stuck with that. My understanding of it is that they stopped because the market deteriorated for cab over trucks. In America, everything's bonneted except for off-road stuff, and they still make cab over trucks in America, but just for the American market. They don't import them out here.
Right, that's interesting, isn't it?
So what they need is different to what we need, and so unfortunately, like a lot of us, if they made a cab over truck which suited our needs, we'd be into them like a robber's dog.
You're telling me you've got one of everything that came out of Palmerston North?
Yeah, one of every model of Mack they made up there.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yep.
What's the ultra high one? Is that a cruiser or an ultraliner?
We've got the ultraliner, and we've got a cruise liner which was before the ultraliner. So they're both quite high. Cruise liner's marginally higher, which we'll see when we go over the other yard there. Cruise liner's marginally higher. They didn't make very many of those because they were a bit of a model between the FR and the ultraliner.
This Mack Bug, which you've got, there's a bloke in the Bay of Plenty who just loves the cab over model from about 1970 something.
Yep.
I just forget what they are, but anyway, he went and bought one and loved it, and then here's another one, bought it, and he's only got a sort of small property, maybe half an acre, but it's absolutely jam-packed full of cab over Macks.
FRs.
Yeah, that's it. FRs.
Gavin Duxbury.
That's him.
Well, Gavin, I bought the FR that I've got over there off Gavin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Gavin's got some quite unique trucks. He had the FR that I've got, which was built for the Ministry of Works. It was the only one they've ever built with an automatic in it as a bit of a prototype. So I was lucky enough to bend Gavin's arm and get that off him. Gavin's also got the last FR built in the world.
Oh, really?
Which I'm having a bit of trouble bending Gavin's arm far enough to get that bugger off him too. But nice guy. If you want to know anything about them, he's a bloody information booklet.
You might remember that story, folks, when we were doing the Talking Truck series, talking to Gavin Duxbury with us. We went for a ride in his Mack, and he just chewed my ear off. Everything about Mack, what he didn't know wasn't worth knowing. You know?
That's right. Good guy.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he needs to give me that truck. That's what I keep telling him, but nah, he's all right.
So tell me about the air starts in Mack. Do they still make air starts? Is that the way to start a Mack, or have they changed that?
No, they. You can. I think you can still have both. I think the new ones. I think the new ones are electric, but the old ones are all air start, and a lot of people converted them to electric, but the loyalists of us all would never dream of starting a Mack with electrics.
When air starts were invented, you know when that was? No? Okay. There was a machine like an RB that started on air in about 1918 or something, so air starts have been around a long time.
I remember Burnett's in Ashburton when I was a kid. They had a Fuso with a Detroit in it, and it was air start, and that was before I'd ever heard of them on Macks. I was only a bloody nipper though, but it was number 48. It had a 8V71 and it was based in Ashburton, twin stacks and all that sort of rubbish on it, and I used to think, wow. But then he used to get a bit of a thrill out of starting it when the kids walked past too. So that's become habitual for everyone with an ear start, I think.
Oh, what the hell was that? Yeah.
See who you can frighten the living daylights out of. Yeah, yeah, it's good.
Awesome. What do you do with this truck? Is it still do a day's work if required?
Yeah, this one's this week it's off to Auckland. I've got 2 containers going up there, so I just take it for a run. Probably once a year I try to get them into the North Island, give them a real good run.
Yeah.
And every 2 or 3 months they get a run round the South Island here to go and do something.
So the cops don't sort of, ooh, what's that? And pull you over just for a look. That looks old.
No. There's a few guys. I know a lot of the guys in the CVIU in the bottom of the North Island. So more of the time it's pulling into the weighbridge to say g'day and have a coffee, and they come out and go, wow, is this bloody thing still around? And I'm not too sure if they're talking about me or the truck.
No.
But no, most of them look at them and go, yeah, that's pretty cool. And they actually don't age that much. Like you look at the new Western Stars and the new 900 Kenworths and things like that. If you were driving down in a line of them with this, you'd know it was a bit older, but you wouldn't. It doesn't stick out and bash you.
No. Matty Franicevic bought back a Peterbilt from America. Always wanted one.
Yeah.
Bought it in, and there were so many restrictions. Yes, you can bring it, but you can't have the tyres, you can't have the paint, you have to, this went on and on and on what he had to do with it in order to keep it. But he had to sign a caveat that said that he wouldn't sell the truck to a Russian, to the Russians, because it was a prototype of some sort. But it was just interesting that the cops pulled him over just to have a look at his truck, you know.
Yeah, no. Well, you've got to remember, in the early days, a lot of CVIU guys were truck drivers.
Yep.
In the 70s and 80s, quite a few of the guys were truck drivers themselves, and some of them have sort of left the police and gone back truck driving. When I used to work for Farrier Waimak in Christchurch here, we had a detective, I can't remember what his name was, Blair someone. He took 6 months out of being a detective because he just wanted to calm down a bit, have a break, and came and drove a concrete mixer. You know, like there is a bit of argy-bargy between them, and you know, you hear of all the arguments and that, but 99% of them are just guys doing their bloody job, and they're about as passionate about the trucks as us sometimes. So they want to get inside, and you think, oh, you're not getting inside my bloody truck, that's my truck, but they just want to have a look, you know.
Yeah. The engine has got a number that marries with the whole truck marries up to the number 1,000.
Everything's original on this one.
Yeah, and it's written somewhere, you know.
Yeah, it's on the logbook in there, but we had gearbox problems with it years ago, and a replacement gearbox was 3.5. It cost 11 grand to rebuild this one, so we rebuilt the original just to keep it original. So we're reasonably passionate about keeping this one absolutely original.
Sure. Is it 12 speed, 18 speed?
12. Yeah, the old 12 speed.
Yeah. And the diffs, just Mack diffs?
44s, yeah. She was set up, Southern Transport set this up for logging. It was originally an Arctic, and then they stretched it out to a truck and trailer.
Sure.
And then it went to Rodex, and they had it as a long wheelbase tipper / tractor unit, and then they shortened it back up, and then Delta had it as a tar tanker, and then I managed to get my sticky digits on it from Delta, and I was absolutely, from Alexandra back to Christchurch, I smiled the whole way. Absolutely smiled when I got my hands on the old girl.
So was that a hard thing to do? Did you have to break arms, twist arms, get out of there quickly?
No, without sort of going down a road, I'd say they didn't realise what they had at the time. Delta were not, they're a big company, they're not passionate people. It was just a truck to them, and they had some R models for sale at the time, and this was sitting in the yard, so we managed to sort of quietly talk them round to letting it go, and
off you went, smiling all the way back here.
Bloody laughing all the way back. I didn't need a radio on the way home, but it was something I'd always wanted. I already had a superliner, which I brought from Lee Melnick in the Wairarapa, and that was called the Iron Outlaw, and so I didn't need 2 of them, so I ended up selling that to John Mould over in England, and so that went over to the UK. Because he's a good bugger.
We've met John.
He keeps a lot of trucks and stuff like that.
We've been to his place, and you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of New Zealand stuff there.
Well, I was staying at John's place one day and we sort of end up having a few drinks and end up discussing the Suplo, and before I really knew it, he'd convinced me that it was his, so he ended up getting the bloody thing. But yeah, no one probably deserves it more than he does.
No.
He's really passionate about
Absolutely is. Yeah, can we start this?
them.
Will it start again?
I'll take the plates off so they don't rattle off.
What we're going to do, folks, is we're going to kick number 1000 in the guts and frighten you to death with it. Way it starts. Here we go. Look at that. How many horsepower is that, John?
It's 500.
500?
Yeah, it's a traditional 500, but you never sort of forget the sound of them. You walk past one. This is the only one we've got 5 with V8s on them. This is the only one with mufflers on it.
Oh,
It's only because the exhaust's so close to your ear that we decided we put mufflers on it. The rest of them have got no mufflers on them.
You're not slightly deaf in this ear, are you?
What? Yeah, no, I'm not. But
A lot of truck drivers are.
I always used to
Well,
say
the old ones anyway.
the super line I had up in the North Island, you'd come around the motorway there to head up the Noronga Gorge, and it was like a procedure. You do sort of 12 loads out to Tawa every day. It was like a procedure. You'd come around there, you just hit the bottom of the gorge, and first thing you do is flick it down half a gear. Second thing you do is drop the passenger's window about 2 inches, and then the third thing you do is shove it up a whole gear, and that was your pulling gear up the hill. Then once you got over the top, it was up a whole gear, and then lift the window back up, and then up the half a gear, and you're away again. You never resisted the urge just to hear it crackling out the left-hand side going past Kiwi Point.
That's amazing. Okay, folks, what we're going to do next, or after the break, we're going to have a look at some of the other old Mack that Gerrard has in his yard across the way. So we'll see you after the break.
Milburn Lime, every time. Milburn Lime, available all over the Southland district and beyond. Top grade lime that's been available year after year. Call them on 03 417 8228. The next time you need lime, think Milburn Lime, every time. Well, my 2022 calendar is now available, and it's available at Paper Plus, Wickles, and a whole range of independent bookstores. But if you go looking for it, it's not too hard to find. And if you can't find it, just send me a text or an email, and I'll see if I can get a copy to you. I've only got a few left, but on the back are all these old trucks rusting away, and they're all from the 40s, 50s and 60s, these old girls, but they've all had their time in history, and they've all had their time in New Zealand history, doing whatever it is they did. Also, my wife Linda, and our cameraman, she does a calendar as well, which is all about planting, and she does a little chart inside here that says planting by the moon. I do a fishing calendar, which is fishing by the moon. Linda does this calendar, planting by the moon, and all these different codes, all these different colours, different times to go planting. And if you'd like this, you can just send Linda a text on 021 825960, 021 825960, and she'll get a copy to you as well. But these are also available in Wickles, Paper Plus, and a whole range of independent bookstores. So there you go, 2 calendars, mine and Linda's. Go and get your copy. Well, welcome back, and Gerrard, as I was saying, that the Mack design, it's got that Mack look about it. They haven't really changed much, although they have. But anybody looking, that looks like an R series or a superliner, and it does.
Yep.
So why have you got this one?
Well, I bought this one because when I was working for Allied in Wellington or in Paraparam, we built this truck up here for me to drive from New, and I've seen Greta Valley had it for quite some time, and then they decided that they'd sort of finished with it, so I thought we'd better have it back as part of the collection, because we've got a CH already restored in the collection, but it's sort of no emotional value to me, whereas this one is one that I drove from brand new, so I thought I'll grab this and chuck it in.
Sure.
The sister truck to it that we also built a wee bit earlier, the V8 one, it's in the paint shop at the moment, So they'll both get added into the collection as well.
How old is this?
97. This one.
97.
Yep.
97, 207, 2 years, 19 years old.
Yep. Yeah. And its first, I think the first 4 or 5 loads I did with it were Kakariki quarries to Auckland, to Tauranga, to Wellington, and round in that circle for the first 5 loads. So she got a real good run in. And even Greta Valley, they had a second CH, a 454, the same as this, and even they said this thing just eats it. So it was all about how they run in.
Treat them right, they treat you right.
Yeah. This one started off as Ka Hooloways in Wanganui.
Yes, it did.
And we've got the very first one ever built was a Ka Hooloways one. That's around the corner here. I'll show it to you later on. That was the first one built in the country. And the last one built in the country went to the guys in Taihape. They've got quarries and gravel trucks and all that there. And it's actually in the engineer's bay next door here, because I bought that, it had been written off. And so I've got the first and the last ones of these, and this one in the middle.
So they built these at Palmerston North as well?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, put them together up there.
Yeah, but when you see the films and movies and things, these have got a big bowl on the back and a big forklift thing under the front, and they pick up bins.
Yep, yeah,
like
the rubbish trucks. Yep.
Yeah.
And they're still, if you look at even the modern ones they're building in the States now, they're still only basically these. Even the old R model cab, you can still buy trucks in the States with R model cabs on them. Exactly what we're looking at, just for the construction industry.
Oh, big square windows on the front of it there. It's just, a workhorse.
Mount Cook had a lot of these as stock trucks, and used to see them going down the road in sort of 1980 and 81, and used to think, holy hell, that's going to take a while to grow on anybody. But they sort of did. They became a bit sort of rugged, and the longer they stayed around, the more you got used to them.
There's a dead one up in Maungatarota, and the window just seemed a bit more rounder than that, but maybe I'm just imagining things.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can hook that photo out, folks. That dead one of these at Maungatarota, it just looks slightly different. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, it's had its place in history.
Yeah, no, I think they're still good. If they still made them like this, I think we would have a few of them in our fleet.
Any reason why you've got this? Did you sort of go and steal it one night? Because he wasn't going to part with anything.
No, he wasn't, but I was nagged at Gavin for so bloody long. I think he finally just gave it up to, well, you got a reasonable sum for it, I must say, but I think he just gave it up to get rid of me. But it doesn't matter how much I nag him for the other bugger, he's not too keen on giving that one up just yet, but he might come right. But we just wanted one, and one that was significant, this being the only one that they put an auto in. It's got a GVM on just the truck of 32 tonne. So when you consider in the day that it was built, it's probably one of the heavy haulage trucks around the place at that time.
Yeah.
But we had to, because it had been sitting there for so long, we put a new roof on it, new doors, new locker boxes at the back. But it kept it all absolutely how it was. Made the roof out of panel steel from scratch, made the door skins out of panel steel from scratch, so a lot went into it, but when you look at it sitting there, you're bloody happy that you did it.
Yeah, I'll say. FR. So when did the FR start life?
Well, they started originally as well in 72, I think. Motor Trucks have got one in there that they restored. I think it was the third one ever built, or second one from memory, but they're starting to make a wee collection up there, which is a good thing to see. Yeah, she would have been a weapon in its time, being a V8, automatic, loud as hell, up through Taupo there, because this one was based at the Ministry of Works in Taupo. And when they started their geothermal division up there, this used to carry all the drill rigs around. So, yeah, she was.
So it's had a life.
Oh, it's had a big life. It's had a good life too. Yeah. Every bugger up there knows about it. When I went up to North Island with it, when I first restored it, I took it for a run up to Auckland to bring a tanker back. And I stopped at Taupo and stayed there the night, and there was a fair amount of people came around to have a look at it once word got round that it was back in Taupo again.